Today is day 148 of Blender. It is also July 5th, 2022. It is Tuesday, and I'm gonna just kind of do the tutorial again from yesterday, but try to remember. I'm gonna try to see if I could remember anything, and then if I need help, I'll just go back. This is how I learned, so yeah. So I'm just gonna go here to geometry nodes, just move this to the side over here, click on new, disconnect the input from the output, Shift A, and then search up string to curves. So this basically takes whatever string I input, whatever text I input, and creates and turns the string into curve instances. And so each letter is going to end up being a curve. And then through geometry nodes, we can control those curves, is what I get from my understanding. So I'm just going to select the curve instances and put it inside the geometry. And then I believe if I just put in the string that I want, I don't know, what do I want to say? Let's do baby, which is my sister's nickname. So baby should pop up here. Then I go to object data properties, and not object data properties, that's object properties, rotation X, and change it to 90 degrees so I could see that. All right, so this is what we have so far. At this point, I'm going to do Shift A and fill curve, search up fill curve, so that I'm going to put that in the middle right there, and that should fill up the curve. Now to extrude it, I'm going to do, well, first of all, actually, before doing that, if I look at wireframe mode, you can see that the fill is kind of messy, and so if I just change it to n-gons, it kind of fixes up those vertices for me and doesn't make it as messy. Alright, and then from here I want to extrude it, so I'll do Shift A and I'll do extrude mesh and just put that right in between. And so I'll change that to something such as 0.1. What notice at the back is not filled. And so I believe at this point, I think the man from Friday Lab, he said to use something like join geometry to join both the curve and the mesh together. So I'm just going to pop that in here and also move this into here as well. And so that should be fixed. While we're at it, I'm just going to go back to string to curves and change the font to Arial Black. Okay, and yeah, I think that's good. And then at this point, to get to the movement part, I believe I do Shift A and then I do translate instances. I just keep that somewhere. What did I just do? Okay. Translate instances, and I'm going to put that somewhere in here. Just don't know if I want that to go to geometry, and then this over here in instances. Okay. So now that I have everything, so this is basically like, oh, I could just do this, good. So all of this is basically the making up of the stuff, and then this next part is the movement of the string. So at this point, I believe I have to do Shift A and add an empty in the layout. So empty, plain axes, have that there. And then I go back to my text object or my node system, and then I just take that empty and drag it in here for object information. And then I believe I search up a position node. And what I do is also search up a math node and change this to measure the distance. What am I doing? Where's the distance? Distance. Am I going crazy? Maybe it was... Well, I know I need to multiply. Hold on. Shift A. Distance. No. Vector math. And then in vector math, distance. Perfect. Just connect this with this. Alright, so vector math. Interesting, so there's a difference between math, which is just normal math, and then vector math. Vector math, I think, goes off by the shapes and obviously the vectors of the string, or at least in this case, the curve instances. Okay, so let me think. So I want the position of each instance. So when I say instance, I'm using it interchangeably with letter. So each letter is a curve instance. So I want the position from each letter to I want the distance, from each letter, from the position of each letter to the location of the empty. And then I'm taking this value and I'm just putting that inside the translation. So now when I go to my layout and I grab the empty, you see that it moves according to my empty. Now I wanted to move, apparently, I don't know why Geometry Nodes has it like this, the y-axis? When the y-axis is the green one, and I really wanted to move on the z, you know what, I'm not even going to get into it, but I'm going to do Shift A, and I believe it's combine X, Y, Z. Or is it separate? Is it separate or combine? Girl forgot. Combine X, Y, Z. Separate X, Y, Z? Combine. And I just put that right in the middle. And, oh, wait, no. And I put that in the Y. There we go. So when I move the empty, there we go. It's very nice. Alright, what does this do? Not really. I don't know. What am I saying? Why am I saying not really? I mean, I don't really know what it does. I mean, I can visually see the impact that it has. So for me, what it does, it just allows it to move in a vertical way, horizontal way. It allows me to move it on the x-axis in this case, which I'm in like the red one. But it also allows me to move it, you know, I don't even know. It just allows me to move it in a way where it makes sense. Okay, yeah, we're gonna study it later. Combine X, Y, Z, and I think at this point I don't remember what to do. I think this is like the basics that I know, and then other than that, how to get it smoother. Oh, Shift A, color ramp, and then he also used interpolation. What the? Shift A, Why isn't it called interpolation? The little the graph thing. I forgot what it's called. Is it float curve? Yeah. Oh my god, how did I know that? See? Oh my god, that makes me want to study medicine. I don't know, like doesn't that make you want to study the mind? Like how I knew it but I didn't know it, but it was in the back of my head. But I literally did not know it. That's crazy. That's amazing. That makes me want to study the brain because like what? Like how is that? That's just crazy how it works. Like I completely forgot what it is, but float curve stood out to me, but it's not in a way where like it sounds familiar. It just literally stood out. That's incredible. That's amazing. Anyway, besides the point. I'm just gonna go. I don't know where to put it. Do I put it here? I don't think I could put instances in here, or maybe the alphas here, and then I could put. I don't think these go together, do they? The color ramp. Yeah, no, they don't go together. But then what do I do with these? Because I know that here I can just pull it up for each position, and then over here, something with flip color ramp. distribute. I don't even know. Where do I put this? So this value, I want it to be the value for each letter when it moves. So maybe I'll put this in here and this in here. And then when I move, it looks horrifyingly weird. Nope, not what I wanted. How about put this into the factor and then put this value in here. Nope. Alright, how about I could just easily go back to the tutorial. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. Why do I like that? Okay. Just not sure where to put this. Alright, let's go back to the tutorial. So, have it linked here.
Say hello to Webflow, the world's most powerful.
Let's go. I was kind of right. So the color ramp, it was the distance, not the combine. So this goes here, so before the distance, and then this goes here, then this goes here. Nope. Let me go back to that. Let me see. Multiply. What does he have there? I can't see. Multiply, combine. Alright, so combine, the value goes in translation. So Shift A, multiply. Oh, it's a math. Okay, put that in there. Change it to multiply. Move that over here. Where does the float curve come in? Oh, that comes in later. That comes in after, after the color ramp. So this goes into here. This goes in here. Alright, so let me think. So if I grab, it's not even working. Geometry, because it's not connected, so smart. There we go. Alright, multiply it. Oops. Alright, so I'm just trying to make sense of this. So the color ramp goes to the factor, and then the color goes into the value, not alpha. There we go. What in the world? How does a color ramp have anything to do with the position of this stuff? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, at least that works out. And then you're multiplying by a certain amount. So if I multiply by 2, each letter's position is going to be multiplied by 2 there. Reminds me of like that word show I used to watch. Anyway, when I was a kid, I used to watch a word show. I forgot what it was called. Let me think. I'm really trying to think right now. How does this make sense? Like, how does a color ramp have any effect on curves. Like, it's a color ramp. Like, what even? Okay, let me think. Oh, something between 0 and 1, he said. Okay, so I'm taking the position of each curve instance, in this case, the position of each letter, and then I'm measuring the distance between that position and the empty, which is the axis over here. And then I'm taking that distance and I'm putting it into it as a factor in the color ramp. So what I should do is I should research color ramp blender. Alright, so let me read. The color ramp node is used for mapping values to colors with the use of a gradient. So we're mapping. Okay. The factor input is used as an index for the color ramp. Index? But what is this value though? Hold on. Let me add. I know there's a value, but I can't. No, never mind. So this value is the index of the color ramp. Color ramp for controls, C color ramp widget. Color ramp image, blah blah blah. So the factor, the image. So the factor input is used as an index for the color ramp. Let me read this. Alright, so I went back to his tutorial. By the way, credits. Friday Lab Studio. That's where the tutorial's coming from. Okay, so I got it, I think. So let me go back to the beginning here. I just go and back. Actually, let me just delete it. So this is how it is, like so. If I take, well, whatever. What the color ramp does, it just maps. It just maps the letters. So the value, the distances go into as a factor, but then if I flip the color ramp, I just don't know why it's all the way at the top. Like, what the? Oh, I'm so dumb. The color as a value. Okay. So what that does is, if I go back and flip it normally, notice that's by its default. By its default, what did I just do? Oh my god. By its default, it's like this. If I just added it, it's like this, right? Notice if I grab my empty and I kind of go this way, notice that as I'm getting closer, the letters go down, but as I get farther away, they go all the way up. That's a problem. Because I need it to be that when I'm closer to it, it's actually going up, right? And as I'm farther away from it, it should be at the bottom. And so in order to do that, if I flip the color ramp, and now as I'm closer to, oh, now I understand what's at the top because I put the multiplier as 2. There we go. So now as I'm okay, back to the topic at hand. Where's my stuff? Alright, so now that I flipped it, now it's going, as I move my empty by pressing G, as I move or I get closer to the letters, they go up, and as I get farther away, they go down. So you can see from the beginning, right? B and A go up because I'm closer to it, and as I get farther away from them, they go back down. And so also what this color ramp does, it also kind of measures it from 0 to 1, he said. So it's not moving from 1, he said. So, by the way, I feel like Never mind. All right, so if I go from front view by pressing the button under the escape key, this is 0, and then this over here is 1. So notice that the letters are not going to move more, they're not going to cross this 1 axis over here. So if I just take and move the empty, notice that the letters do not cross the 1 line, right? Because that's what it does apparently, the color map. But notice that if I think a variable, what the heck? I don't know what I just did. Whatever. I think a variable that does affect it is a multiplier, because it multiplies, I believe, the each combine, yeah, each distance or whatever value by however much I tell it. So I feel like if I put it to 2, obviously it's going to cross that axis, but now front, what the heck? But now it's not going to cross, I believe, this axis. And I believe if I multiply it by 2, then I guess this is 2 now. So if I just move it like that, it won't cross that 2. Okay, so I'm assuming that's what's happening here. Okay, so I guess the multiplier is that variable that works like that. So he also mentioned that I could use the map, something about map. Hold on, let me do Shift A. Map range. Let's see. Maybe, was it map range or was it something else? Vector minimum. Yep, never mind. Not doing this. Some other day. Because I don't know what to put in each one, so let me put that in there. Alright, and so that's what color ramp does, and then it takes, I guess, those instances, and then that color, apparently, or whatever, it goes into this value here for the float curve, and then by changing this, I control how it moves. So if I go back to kind of it being linear, and I move my empty here, notice the B, he said the same thing, like the B is very linear, so it's only going up and down, up and down. But if I take it and move the interpolation like a little bit curvier, now I'll notice that if I move the axes, it kind of goes more like freer. It's more bouncier versus the linearity we had. Is that a word, linearity? Go back to 1 or 0, I guess. It just, yeah, I see that it only bounces like and down and down. And then the more curvier, oops, the more, oh, so it goes slower as it's going up, and then it gets faster as it's going down. See, so it's slower, slows down all the way at the top, and then it goes faster. Oh, that's what it's doing, the acceleration. So this is the acceleration, I think, right? Because it's going fast, then slow. It kind of slows down, and then it goes fast again. Whether here, it would have just got not the same speed, so I guess it's, yeah, and then over here, it goes fast. So I'm assuming if I did this, it would go slower, would it not? Oops. Yeah. Or, well, actually, it would decrease the, oops. It would decrease, did I just, oops. Go back here. It's kind of the opposite now. So now if I go to the empty, it should be slower, right, when I'm closer to it, but then it should be quicker when it gets up, but then it also has but it also doesn't move from 1, which is interesting. So I guess that's another variable that affects kind of like, I guess, the multiplier. Well, it doesn't affect the multiplier. Actually, it does, because it's kind of negating the multiplier value. If I go back up here, so now if I go back up here, which is the opposite, it should be slow when I'm closer to it and faster when I'm not closer to it. Or in other words, it should be faster when it's going upwards and then slowing down at the top and then coming down kind of average and then going fast once it's at the bottom. So here, right? Fast, slow. I'm looking at the B, like the Y. So slow and then fast. So slow, then fast. Then it goes slow, then it goes fast. Slow, goes fast. The Y. And then notice the farther away from it I am, it goes. Okay, I'm just trying to understand the logic behind all of these nodes, and I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow. I'm not going to rest until I know what each and every single one of these nodes do. Alright, so I guess at this point, he did something with the scale, so hold on. Something with the scale, but I believe the scale is, I think there was a scale thing here. Or not. Let me see. Okay, so for the multiplier, if I move the scale and set it to that value, interesting. So if I change the scale of the empty, it changes how much it multiplies or how much it kind of bounces. So I just move it, and if I kind of scale it like that, it does a little bit more. So the bigger I make the empty, the more bouncier the word is. So I guess that's a relationship that I should know. If, only if, I put the scale all the way to the value of the multiplier. So I guess I make them related. Okay. So that was one thing. And I believe if I go to modifier properties and hold on, go to here to string. Where's the string? Over here. String to curves. And I set that curve instance. Where's the string? And set that to the output, or not, to the geometry here, right there. I can change it now in the geometry system in modifiers if I set that there. And I can also change the extrusion. It's somewhere here, extrude mesh, and I can change that value. Which one should I do? I don't believe it's this one, is it? Yes, it is. Perfect, but I had it at 0.01. So, what the? Did this thing just... Interesting. Did I put the wrong one? What did I just do? If I delete it from here, that's how I had it, right? 0.1. That doesn't do anything anymore because it's not there, but if I go back here, yeah, it's the same thing. I don't even know what, okay, whatever, yeah. So that works. Let me close this out, close this out. Is there anything else that I want to control? Not really. This is a mess. The scale I can control with just changing, not the bounce. The bounce, well, yeah, the bounce, or I guess how much it multiplies by, I can change it by controlling the scale of the empty. So I don't need that to be a thing. And I think that's it. The translation is all affected by the multiplier as well, which is controlled also by the scale. And then at this point, I think I can start with my material, can I not? Interpolation. Alright, so let me see. Is there anything else? I think I got everything. Alright, so now it's the material. I do want to figure out, though, how do I change the color of every individual letter? That is something I want to know. So I'm just going to go here to material properties. First of all, I'm going to do Control S to save this. Today is 7/5/22. Save Blender file. Okay, give it a base color. Let me go to colors to pick a nice color. Nope, 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 nope. Maybe? No. No. Maybe this one. Cute. Alright, change the base color, hex, paste that in there. And then can't see it because first of all, we're not a material property, and even then we still can't see it, so I'll have to do Shift A, set material, put that right in here in between, and I just have to put the material, and now I can see it. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm just going to move this G and X so it could be right here at the bottom. I'm going to do Control S, and I'm going to go to layout mode real quick, pull this down, delete kind of all of my little notes here. I believe you delete them this way. And I'm going to just add like a backdrop, so I'm going to do Shift A, and layout, Shift A, plane, S to scale, oops, forgot my shortcuts. Alright, S to scale, G to grab, X to grab on the X axis, G to grab, and then Z to grab on the Z axis, right? And then edit mode by pressing on tab, edge select by pressing this little icon over here, selecting the back edge, E to extrude, and then Z to extrude on the Z axis, which is the blue axis. And then tap to exit out of edit mode, and then go to the wrench icon, which is modifiers properties in the properties panel, add modifier and bevel. At this point, I want to increase the amount of segments and also the amount of actual bevel, I guess, vertices, edges, the amount of edges, yeah. And then right click shade smooth, S to scale, and then X to scale on the X axis. And then do Control S, and then I'm just going to go to material properties, which is kind of the dartboard, click on new, base color, change it all the way up. You can't see it because we're not a material preview, so click on material preview and now you can see it. And if I change it to another color, you'll be able to see that too. But I need to stop talking so fast. Okay. Let me just change it to FFF, which is just pure white. Alright, at this point, I'm going to start my animation. So I'm going to pull up my timeline, and I'm going to click on the empty, which is what controls the bounce. So I'm going to click on N to kind of pull up my N panel is what I call it. So I'm going to hover over, I'm going to do a location animation. So I'm going to insert a keyframe where it is in frame 1 right now in the X axis, and I'm just going to hover over the position that it is right now in the X axis and press I. And that basically inserts a keyframe, and you'll be able to see it right here. It's a little yellow diamond in the timeline over here. And then what I'll do is I'll kind of maybe do 100. Let's do 80. I'll do like 80 frames, and so by 80, I want it to reach. Oops. This position over here, and I'm just going to hover over the X position that it is now while I'm on frame 80 and press I, and that would insert that keyframe. Now if I go to 1 and I click on play, you'll see it actually, going through that animation. Now to render this, I want to go to, first of all, I have to align my camera. So let me go to here, keyframe 1. Let me do front view by pressing the button under the escape key, kind of hovering this way, and then doing Control, Alt, numpad 0 to kind of set my camera to the view that I'm currently looking at right now. And by the way, to get out of this, you click on your middle mouse button, right, to get out of that view. Because if not, you can't really move. Hold on, let me show you. You can't really move, right? Anything, like throughout it, you have to click the metal mouse button. Alright, so, and if you by accident leave that view and you don't want to change it, you press 0 to go back to the view. Alright, and now I just want to play it, so I'm making sure that it reaches everything. Beautiful. Alright, so that's good. Maybe I want it to... No, it's okay. Is there anything else that I wanted to do? Not really, right? Okay, so now at this point, I go to Output Properties in the Properties panel. I make sure that my frame starts at 1, ends at 80. I'm going to set up a folder here where my frames are going to go. So I'm going to set 7, 5, 22. This is baby. That is not how you spell baby. Right click, rename, baby, click on that. And so now all of the, what I'm going to do is I'm going to render the 80 images so that it's faster to render the animation later, because all I have to do is gather them and basically add them all together as an image strip and then render that animation. But it's kind of just putting 80 images together. So yeah, the point is these 80 images are going to go to that baby folder that I just made. They're going to go as PNG images, and that's all I have to do. So now I'm just going to make sure that everything, if I go to cycles and I do this, wow, do you see what an upgrade my laptop is? Not my laptop, but technically the GPU of the laptop. Because if I were to do this in cycles, it would literally, I wouldn't be able to see it at all, because it would take 5,000 hours to render at least one frame. But I think maybe should I do it in cycles? Oh no, it'll take more time, and then I'll have to do GPU. Okay, no, I think I'm just gonna use, Eevee. Oh, you know what I was gonna do? Shift A. Oh no, I believe I already have a light right here. Perfect. So I'm just going to go to Object Data Properties, turn this into a sun, maybe strength 3, and then just bring it, so G for grab, Y to grab on the Y-axis, G, Z, down, rotation this way. Maybe I can go here to 0. No, not like that. So let me go rotate it downwards this way, and then let's see, rotate it this way. It's just such a mess. Rotate it on the X, G, Y, G, X. I don't even know if I want it to be that way. And if I just do this, you could kind of see. You could even see the background, which is quite funny. Not the background, the shadow. But maybe I don't want a shadow. Type of lights, directional, cone lighting, source, point, almost point, area. I'm trying to think. Diffuse, specular, volume, angle. Whoops. Oh, shadow. There we go. Oh my god. You're kidding me. You are witnessing me realizing that I am not. Never mind. I'm not going to install myself. Okay. All this time, I wanted like the perfect lighting for the background without having shadows. And all I had to do, I clearly did not see this because I am absolutely, literally blind. Like, what is actually wrong with me? I really do not see things. Okay, all I have to do is unselect shadow. Like, look at that. What? Why am I like this? Okay, anyway. Play that. Okay, I don't know if it's going to be too slow, though. Maybe, okay. Oh, also, in the timeline, hover over, press T, and do linear so that when it actually, goes to the end, it continues on from the beginning, kind of like a loop. What was I going to say again? Okay, so maybe I want this to have a certain other X position here. So kind of right about here. So maybe I'll go back to keyframe 1, GX, right there. And then I'll just go N and right click replace keyframe. So now I'll start immediately. Beautiful. Alright, now I'm just going to do Control S, scroll up all the way, render animation, and then if I go to here, my files, desktop, Blender, animations, basically the folder that I set up, you should see, you know, the frames rendering at this point. And I believe, how many did I do? 80? So right now we are in 43. This might take a while. I wish somebody told me this, like, when I was watching these videos, but, like, this can take literally hours if you do not have a good GPU. Like, not necessarily this text animation, but I think for other things like, just rendering other things in general, like, I thought I was doing something wrong, and it wasn't that. It was just that that my literal computer would not take, I don't know, less than 24 hours to render something. Like, it would take days, and I would be like, is this thing just freezing? I thought it was just broken. Like, I thought I was a problem. But no, it's taking so long. Like, I used to render videos. Oh, it's done. And it wouldn't move. So I was like, is it frozen? And I would just give up. And I wish somebody would have told me that it just sometimes takes literally forever if you don't have the correct GPU. Anyway, I'm going to go here to plus video editing, click on add image sequence, and now I'm going to go to that folder, and I'm just going to add all those images as an image sequence. Nope, wrong one. Where is it? Okay, so I'm going to select the first one, scroll all the way down, and shift select the last one. That selects all the images in between. Images and frames are used interchangeably, by the way, they're the same thing. And then I'm going to add the image strip, and then you'll see that it's kind of like added as a video. And now I'm going to go to output properties over here, and I'm just going to select the folder in which I want my video outputted. I'm actually going to create the folder called video, put that in there. So now when my video is rendered, it's going to go to that folder. I'm going to store it with the file format as FFmpeg video. And if I go into encoding, I want the container to be MPEG4, the output quality, the output quality to be high quality, and that's all I have to change. And then I go back up here, render animation, or Control F12. And then if I go to my folder, desktop, Blender, animations, baby, and I go to the video where I told it to go to, the video should be there. And this is our final result. Alright, I'm good at that part. I'm good at rendering. But like making like the bounds with geometry nodes, like I really did have to follow that tutorial because I really had no idea how to do that. And so I feel like I'm going to spend the next few days kind of exploring all those geometry nodes and kind of tinkering and then seeing like the effect that each one has on the other. And then I'll learn from there. So yeah, that's how I learn. Anyway, I'm going to do Control S, exit, and that's it for today. Bye. What the heck? Okay, now bye. I don't know what that was.